This episode of Rick and Rick is brought to you by Taskin, the first name in ultra-stylish, premium-quality travel gear, like the Taskin Air Duo dual-sided compression packing cubes. One side's 100% air breathable to keep clean clothes fresh and wrinkle-free. The other side's odor and water-resistant to keep dirty laundry sealed up tight. Now you can pack up to 40% more in the same space. Save 30% on your next purchase when you use the promo code R&R Take 30. That's R&R Take 30 at TaskinSF.com.
Prepare to tangle with TIE fighters and get your tauntaun in a twisty, because you're just in time for a Star Wars edition of Rick and Rick Rule the World. And it all starts right here, right now, on the one show where everybody's a fan of Babu Rick and everybody rules the world.
Did somebody say Star Wars road trip? Welcome to Rick and Rick Rule the World. I'm Rick Matheson, and I am joined, as always, by my good pal, Rick Wooten. And we're welcoming back special Rick and Rick correspondents, Eric V. and Kurt Ho, who will report on a road trip they recently made to Rancho Obi-Wan, Guinness World Record certified as the largest collection of Star Wars memorabilia in all the Dagobah system. Welcome back to the show, Eric and Kurt.
Thanks, guys.
Hello.
Forgive my ignorance, guys. I had not heard of Rancho Obi-Wan, so please give us the backstory, but start with the words "a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away." And go. No, what is this place?
Well, you got to go over to Tatooine or Mos Eisley, and then you got to go into the cantina. There's a lot of scum and villainy, and then you got to find the right group, and you got to kind of negotiate and get the info and find out where this location actually is. But it is what you briefly hinted at. It is, I think, the largest private collection of Star Wars memorabilia and collectibles. Rancho Obi-Wan, they have anything you could imagine that has the Star Wars label on it. I believe it's owned by this guy named Steve Sansweet.
He used to work for Lucasfilm, for George Lucas. I believe at one point he was also the head of the Star Wars fan club or Lucasfilm fan club. I believe he's in his late 60s, maybe 70s. He's authored 18 books. I think I have like 8 of them. He has a lot of stuff there at the Rancho Obi-Wan. And the thing is, they only have this tour on the weekends, and there's only so many openings. So you have to get your slot really early, like in the beginning of the year, because say you wanted to go in October or November, they've already sold out for the rest of the year. So tickets for the tour go on sale in January, and the soonest we could go was in March. So one, it takes a little bit of luck or the force, depending on who you ask.
That's right.
And did you have to shoot first in order to get there?
You do have to be aggressive, I guess, or proactive.
You sent me some photos, and this is enormous. If you told me that, hey, here are some extra shots from Comic-Con, I might have believed you. I mean, this place is huge.
It's big. I'll give you an example of how crazy big it is. They have every Star Wars video game that has ever come out for PC or Nintendo or Xbox, but they also have it in every language. So
that's awesome.
Yes, it's crazy.
I was just looking at the website, and it was saying that the main museum there is 9,000 square feet, and that it used to be the home of 20,000 chickens, and it's where they laid their eggs, and they've converted that into the museum. So that kind of gives you the scale, something that could fit 20,000 chickens.
Yeah, I think they transported all those chickens to Alderaan, right, Eric? And then you are getting a tour of a private collection. It is private property. So obviously, when you do go, you're basically like a guest. So, be on your best behavior.
Dang it, Rick and I can't go.
I think they kept the group about 10 to 12. They had kind of told us the tour could be between 2 to 4 hours. And actually, Eric and I, we kind of closed the place out.
Wow.
Those 4 hours for us.
Nice.
If you wanted to speed run through it, sure, but you're going to miss a lot. And even Eric and I think we could have spent more time there. It's just being respectful of their volunteers' time and stuff like that. It was good being able to talk with the docents. They're pretty knowledgeable, pretty friendly. And Eric took so many pictures, his phone actually ran out of battery.
Are you serious? If you were there for 4 hours and you could have stayed longer, about what % of the collection do you feel like you were able to digest?
I would say we maybe saw, I don't know, just what was visible. I don't know, 45%.
Wow.
There was some couples, there were some people that brought their kids. The docent basically asked everybody, why are they there? What is their fandom? So everyone got to do an introduction. After I gave my introduction, basically said, oh, we should have gone with you last. But there were other people there that just wanted to go on a tour. There was like a 10-year-old boy who his thing was Star Wars Pops. There was a couple there. They wore the T-shirts, I love you and I know, which is what Han Solo and Princess Leia say in Empire.
Right.
So there's a whole spectrum of people there. So the tour starts out by going up these stairs, and there's this hallway full of movie posters from the late 70s, 80s, 90s, and some of them are in Italian and French, and you kind of get this introduction that way. The next thing is this library, which also is insane. Books I haven't even heard of.
Eric, what was that one couple $1,000 book?
Yeah, it's called Frames. So George Lucas, he commissioned this project called Frames, where he took 40 or 50 scenes from every movie and blew them up like supersized. It's basically a giant coffee book, but it's a coffee book for every episode 1 through 6. And it's kind of where the docent said George Lucas commissioned this and they made 1,100 and how many? That's easy. I said 38 because 1,138 or 1138 is part of the movie title of George Lucas's first movie, which is THX 1138, that he made initially when he was a USC film student and then later made it for theatrical release. It has Robert Duvall in it. Sorry for any Star Wars fans that hear what I'm about to say, but it's a horrible movie. It's hard to watch. Was the movie ahead of its time? Maybe. It's also where you get the THX sound system. That's where the name of the THX sound system comes from. So that was the library. And then you actually walk into, let's call it the barn or the main building. And you don't know what you're expecting. And, sometimes you're let down when you have expectations. I was not let down. It was quite impressive. It was huge. And when you walk right in front of you is this giant action figure holder, and it has one of every character. And it's like 10 feet tall, and it's cylindrical, and it's impressive. And then the band that's in the Mos Eisley Cantina is there. They're kind of like animatronics. And then you just keep going. And I could see how they say it takes 2 hours, but it really depends on the people you're with. Because if you're there with people who don't ask any questions or don't care, it probably would take just 2 hours. But between me asking questions, Kurt asking questions, and one or two of the other people, it got to like 4 hours. And then at the end, you walk into another room that you are literally on the Tantive 4, which is the first spaceship you see in Star Wars Episode 4.
It's the one with the white hallways.
Where they have the first battle.
Nice.
Yeah, they actually have a kind of a walkway that's replicated as if it was like that. So it's a little Universal Studios type of little skit thing that happens.
That's cool. After the short break, the Ricks will be back with guests Eric V. and Kurt Ho talking about their tour of Rancho Obi-Wan. So stay tuned. Hey, Rick and Rick Nation, don't forget to check out our website at rickandrick.com. It's double the Rick in just one click at rickandrick.com. And we're back, Rick Matheson and Rick Wooten, with our guests Eric V. and Kurt Ho with more from their tour of Rancho Obi-Wan. So Rancho Obi-Wan, like mentioned, it's the largest collection of Star Wars memorabilia, but there are also these other museums like the Smithsonian in Kansas City and the Imperial Archives and Boba Cabana in Seattle. And there are plans to merge them all into the Saga Museum of Star Wars memorabilia in San Francisco. At least that's where the collectors hope to establish it. Do you know the status of this initiative? Is it happening, or is Obi-Wan our only hope?
Good questions. Yeah, they actually did brief us on the current status at the end of the tour of the Saga Museum. Right now, they are still looking at several locations. I think it was LA, Bay Area, and then was it Chicago? And then somebody was pushing for St. Louis for some reason.
Yeah, the guy who had the girlfriend with the T-shirts, he wanted St. Louis because that's where he's from.
Yeah. So they do have a video kind of promoting the concept of the Saga Museum. And yeah, in the video, it does have the owners of those particular museums. I think everybody's trying to work collaboration and trying to combine everything and finding a right location. I think right now it has to do with the facility and obviously real estate, being able to afford a location. And obviously Bay Area is the most ideal, but it's also one of the most expensive areas.
Yeah. I mean, just given George Lucas's history growing up in the Bay Area, it would just be a shame, I think, if it didn't land here. But this guy, Steve, he started this collection. Do you have a sense of how much he spent on all these things? Or are people donating them?
It's both. So there's things in there that are like, let's just say priceless, because they could be like one of a kind, right? I wouldn't even be able to estimate. Like, I don't know how they would even do insurance on that place. But to answer your question, they do hunt for collectibles. So they might go to conventions or auctions and they might be looking for a particular thing. There's obviously things that are cost prohibitive, which one item they brought up, which is a 1979 Boba Fett action figure that has the rocket launcher, where the rocket actually, Kurt took a picture of the Cylon Raider, which is from Battlestar Galactica. And because of that toy, some kid choked on the little red torpedo. And because of that, the government passed some laws saying you can't have toys that are choking hazards. But in this case, there is one version of that toy that recently sold at some auction for $1 million. So a lot of people got the mail away, but this one particular one, I believe it was a prototype. So it's a one of one, and it's rated at $1 million.
Things like a custom-made Millennium Falcon, I think it was an electric guitar, that was bid on and he won that in auction. There's a whole bunch of other things that I think it's just the attitude of basically asking if he could have it or what they were going to do after shooting or after its use. And so a lot of times it was just going to get thrown away, or I think Steve early on, he kind of dumpster dived and just asked, hey, what are you guys going to do with it? And just being in the right place, asking the right questions.
Like some guy went to Tunisia, and from the original cantina in Mos Eisley is actually in a location in Tunisia. There's like film tourism for, movie location. And this guy actually brought the door back.
Wasn't the door being used to like keep some farm animals or something, goats or something?
Yeah, it was like used as a pen, like the door to a pig pen.
And the guy saw it and recognized it was in A New Hope,
Nice.
and then made an offer for it.
Like $20 or something.
Yeah. And then actually, I think when that guy bought it, somebody came along like within a couple of minutes trying to buy it as well. So it was just funny. Right at that moment, two people were hunting for that thing.
Nice. Now, the real question, though, I think that true fans have to be wondering is, does Rancho Obi-Wan have the Star Wars Holiday Special on continuous loop?
No, they didn't bring that up. That's forbidden.
And we'll be right back.
This episode of Rick and Rick is brought to you by Taskin, the first name in ultra-stylish, premium quality travel gear, like the Taskin Air Duo dual-sided compression packing cubes. One side's 100% air breathable to keep clean clothes fresh and wrinkle-free. The other side's odor and water-resistant to keep dirty laundry sealed up tight. Now you can pack up to 40% more in the same space. Save 30% on your next purchase when you use the promo code R&R Take 30. That's R&R Take 30. at taskinsf.com.
And we're back, Rick Matheson and Rick Wooten, with our guests Eric V. and Kurt Ho, with more from their tour of Rancho Obi-Wan. Yeah, continue with kind of walking us through the exhibits and your impressions.
We go through the Tantive 4 hallway, and then we get into another room, which is like, once again, you're a little bit blown away. And this room basically has Star Wars art, and it has an arcade, all Star Wars. And they also have a gift shop. And then at the end, Steve Sansweet shows up to answer your questions.
For a hardcore Star Wars fan like Eric and myself, it was quite a treat. Oh, and by the way, along the tour, if you stump the docent, you actually get a poker chip, so it doesn't get handed out to everybody. So it's a rare item. And Eric got one.
Jeez, Eric, you could be the docent.
There you go. And so that's, a little insider info. If any of your listeners go on the tour and able to stump the docent, you'll get a unique collectible.
Yeah, the docent said he only handed out at maximum 20 of these. One of the questions that the docent couldn't answer is there's this French book of Star Wars themes or Star Wars objects in the real world. And the cover of that book was in the painting collection in the last room. And the guy didn't know where he got that. Well, that was a one-of-one painting basically made for Steve Sansweet.
I did win a bet with Eric. I mentioned that the toothpaste would be mentioned along the tour, and it actually did. So there's Star Wars Toothpaste. I think it's was it Canada, or it was from a foreign country. And what was unusual about the toothpaste is it comes with an action figure. And the action figure is actually in Return of the Jedi. What's the the guy with the tentacle and the bad teeth?
Oh, Bib Fortuna.
Yeah, Bib Fortuna. So the unusual part, it's toothpaste that comes with the character from Star Wars that has the worst teeth. And yeah, so that's probably...
Here's your warning, kids. Don't end up like Fortuna.
Exactly. So that was quite cool to actually see that in person. And, there's actually a little bit of a Steve Sansweet appreciation among the fans. So there's actually, I think, one shelf where people have made Steve Sansweet custom figures or little plushies. I don't remember if there was a stormtrooper with his head on it or something like that. And then other little things besides the rocket firing Boba Fett, there was, I guess, a Death Star bong.
Oh, that's awesome. So you go into this place, and this has been a big thing in your life. How did it feel just emotionally?
Before going there, I already kind of knew, because I've seen Steve Sansweet at conventions over the years, and I know he makes these books, and there's no way that, whatever you want to call me, super fan or whatever terminology you want to stick on me, I knew there's no way I'm going to compete with this guy. I mean, I don't have a 9,000 square foot thing dedicated to this, And one of the reasons I wanted to go back to the library is there were books I saw that it's I need to put that on my list. So there was that emotion. Kurt pointed out, there's things I have that he doesn't. It's just, I'm not going to be in the Guinness Book of World Records. Funny side note, we went to a toy convention in Santa Clara the following day, and there was a guy who had the world's largest Transformer collection. So, I mean, basically, let's not call them super collectors. These are hyper collectors.
Right. He's an elite collector.
He has the advantage of worked at Lucasfilm, president of the film of the Star Wars Club, and these other 3 or 4 museums that they're trying to join in to make this Saga Museum. One of these people, their whole museum is Imperial only. I mean, that's even more niche. And then one thing, so there's a part on the tour that after you say pass 75% of the stuff, they're oh, we're going to open up the Lego section. And it's Lego started in 1999 or 2000, and Lego got the Star Wars license. And some people even say that Star Wars saved Lego because Lego was on the decline. But we all know how Lego is now. You have Marvel, Harry Potter, you have everything. But in 99, 2000, there's not much Star Wars at your local Toys R Us or whatever. So we go into this Star Wars section, and I've been following Lego Star Wars since 1999, 2000. And I'm looking at this, I'm I've never seen this. But then there's other things. It's I have that, I have that, I have that, I have that. So to answer your original question, the emotion and stuff like that, it does become overwhelming. For most people, I would say one time is good enough. You're going to be good.
If I got tickets again and I had the time to go to Petaluma, would I go again? 100%.
I'm curious. So there's something like 400,000 plus movie relics, and you mentioned the original set pieces, and there's concept art. And I'm curious, what were the most unexpected collectibles that you saw at Rancho Obi-Wan that really got your tauntauns twitching?
They actually had a setup of kind of like a mock, like what a kid's bedroom would look like. And they had the Star Wars blankets, some of the prints that I had as a kid, whatever bed sheets and stuff like that. And what was actually cool was this mock kid's bedroom, and on the floor there's like some of the Millennium Falcon, some of the Star Wars Kenner toys on the floor. I think those puzzles. What was kind of cool was on the wall there was actually a Farrah Fawcett poster from back in the day.
Oh yeah.
And actually, that was the number one selling poster until Star Wars came along. And Star Wars poster became the number one poster. But they did have a little photo of the Oscars, and the connection to Farrah Fawcett, besides beating Farrah Fawcett as the number one poster, was, I guess, Farrah Fawcett presented the special effects award to the special effects team when they won the Oscar.
Are you serious? That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to check this place out. I am not anywhere near the Star Wars fans that you guys are, but it sounds really cool. I could definitely see spending at least 4 hours in a place like that. All right, when we come back, we're going to play a Star Wars edition of Rick and Rick Loaded Questions. So don't go anywhere. Hey, Rick and Rick Nation, don't forget to check out our website at rickandrick.com. It's double the Rick in just one click at rickandrick.com. And we are back. Rick and Rick Rule the World with Rick Matheson, Rick Wooten, and our special correspondents, Eric V. and Kurt Ho. And it is time to play a special Star Wars edition of Rick and Rick Loaded Questions. It's our multiple choice quiz game to test your knowledge of Star Wars. And I have a feeling Eric V. is going to come out okay in this one. Are you guys ready?
Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, ready.
I'm ready.
Red 5 standing by.
Awesome. Question 1. Which of the following was a line of dialogue in one of the Star Wars movies? A, I love you. Now please stop choking me. B, want to see the body part I like to call Boba Fett? C, you came in that thing? You're braver than I thought. Or D, size doesn't matter, but don't try convincing Leia. Which of these was an actual line spoken in one of the Star Wars movies?
I'm going to go with C.
I would agree. Yeah.
You are correct. You came in that thing, you're braver than I thought. Is a line spoken in Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. Question number 2. Which of the following is the name of a character in the Star Wars franchise? A, Muftak. B, Salacious B. Crumb. C, Droopy McCool. Or D, the Dongalorian. Which of these is the name of a character in Star Wars?
There's two answers.
Go for it.
Well, there's Salacious Crumb and then the Droopy B.
Kurt?
I was going to say Salacious, which is, I think, the name based off that cartoon Crumb. But yeah, I'm going with Salacious.
And Wooten?
I was also going to say Salacious.
You are all correct. And in fact, the answer is A, B, and C. I looked this up in Wikipedia. Muftak was a male Talz abandoned on Tatooine as a newborn and became a regular at Chalmun's Cantina in Mos Eisley Spaceport. Salacious B. Crumb is a Kowakian monkey lizard who was a jester in the court of crime lord Jabba Dusuluk Tour. I have no idea if that's how it's pronounced. During the Galactic Civil War. And Droopy McCool was a flutist in the Max Rebo Band, the ensemble that performed as Jabba's palace band on Tatooine. And final question. Which of the following Star Wars quotes can you also say in bed? A, get in here, you big hairy oaf. I don't care what you smell. B, I've got a bad feeling about this. C, almost there. Almost there. D, pull it out, Wedge. You're not doing any good back there. Or E, sorry about the mess. Which of these Star Wars quotes could you also say in bed?
I'm going with all the above.
All the above? Stay on target.
How about you, Eric?
I'll go with what Kurt said.
Yep, it is all of the above. So the answer would be subjective, but you could pretty much say any of these quotes in bed. I have it as Han Solo said, get in here, you big hairy oaf. I don't care what you smell. I think all of these are from episode 4. I've got a bad feeling about this was spoken by Luke Skywalker during the Death Star trench run. Luke Skywalker also utters almost there, and pull out, Wedge, you're not doing any good back there. Lastly, it was Han Solo who says, sorry about the mess after shooting Greedo in episode 4.
I think this question might be from Reddit.
So I think that's going to wrap things up here, folks. Thank you, Eric V. and Kurt Ho, for your travelogue of Rancho Obi-Wan.
Thanks so much for joining us, guys.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's a pleasure, and I encourage everybody to try to make an appointment and go. It's fans supporting fans, and it's a tall mountain to climb to try to preserve some of these things that we're all into. So hopefully all of us fans could just try to support each other and help these initiatives.
You're here. Well said. See, Steve, you've got great representatives out there spreading the good word everywhere that they can. To you and our listeners, may the Force be with you, and may you keep on coming back to the one show where almost everybody's name is Rick.
And almost everybody rules the world.